The road to love is exciting, funny, and sometimes can even be heartbreaking. But in the end, it'll all be worth it. Join me on my journey to love. Hey everybody, it's LaRonda and I am back with another video. In today's video, I want to talk about attraction. So I've been on this thing lately where I've been going out with men sometimes that I wouldn't normally go for. And that's just kind of trying to get out of the same rut of going out with the same man over and over in a different body. You know, and sometimes like we get into these things where we're attracted to a certain type of man and we keep picking that man over and over again and sometimes don't even realize it. So I was like, okay, let me try this thing where I select or go out with men, not just the ones that I'm extremely attracted to, but also ones that maybe I'm on the fence about, and we're talking about online. And sometimes there's a possibility that somebody looks much better online or in person than they do online, or vice versa. So what my experience though has been that sometimes when I'll go out with a man that I wasn't necessarily attracted to online, I will get out with him and be super pleasantly surprised by the fact that I'm really attracted to him in person. But this video is not necessarily about those men. It's about the men that I maybe wasn't necessarily attracted to online and then got with them in person and really confirmed it. And in some of those instances, even though we had great conversation and seemed to be really enjoying each other's company, I noticed that one of the times, for example, I went out with a guy for several dates and I would notice that we would have a really good time, but it would take me a few minutes to kind of warm up, or, maybe like an hour. So like when I first get with him, I'm not super attracted to him, but after about an hour or so, or, maybe less, give or take, I warm up, the conversation is really good. Because one thing I'm pretty decent at is just having conversations with people, even if I'm not necessarily attracted to them. So once I warm up really with somebody, things can really start to progress, right? But then we end that date and decide that we're going to go on a next one. And it sort of takes me some more time to kind of get back into the swing of things with the person, overnight or over, the next week. Because sometimes, there's a week spaced apart between the last time you date somebody and the next time. So I kind of notice that when I go out with somebody again that I'm not necessarily attracted to, even though we're having a good time, it takes me some time to get back to that feeling of, I really like this guy, I remember one time I went out with someone and it was like a month or so spaced apart where I had a really amazing date with the person, really good time, really liked him. But then we hadn't been together for a while, and the time that I had the really amazing date with him, it was hours long and we had a really great day together, like a whole day. But then when we saw each other again, we were only out for a lunch date. And it was a month or so between the time that we had last seen each other. And so it really takes me a little bit longer in this next time that we're out, because it wasn't the second date, it was the third or something. But it took me some time to get back to where I had been the last time we saw each other. And I don't think I ever got back there on that last date. And I think he noticed it, and so did I. And you kind of, as much as I want to be on this kick where, I'm being less superficial about the men who I date, and, I don't want to, box myself into, that type or whatever that I'm used to and used to having, maybe some bad situations with. So I've tried to expand and be less superficial. But then I've noticed that when I get with somebody, I see them and, there's not that feeling of I want to rip his clothes off or I want to get close to him or whatever. It takes me a little bit of time to get there. And then when you think about, trying to start a relationship with the person, and I just kind of wonder, is that the way it's going to be for the rest of my life? Like, if I'm thinking about this person as a potential partner, is it going to be that for the rest of my life, every time I see him, I'm going to have to try to get back into that feeling of really wanting to be with him and really being excited about him? And that's why I kind of feel like dating people that you're not attracted to doesn't really work. I remember years ago, I dated this guy that I met on one of those chat lines. I was fresh out of my first love relationship. And I signed myself up for one of those, you remember back in the early 2000s and the late 90s, they used to have those chat lines where you would call up the chat line.
Flashback.
It's late at night, and I just can't sleep.
Dozens of local seniors are waiting to take your call.
Did you happen to watch that Price is Right this afternoon? Man, just lost my glasses.
It's easy to meet fun, exciting seniors in your area.
Well, after that, I'm going to have a doctor's appointment to get my wart removed, and then it's...
I crocheted an Afghan for my sister about 40 years ago, and I never finished it.
And 65 comes really early. Quicker than you think.
Can you come see me sometime and bring your needles?
How about 69? That's right. Down.
Why go to bed after the 6 o'clock news when the party's just getting started?
Yes!
So why not call? New seniors are waiting for you every day.
I'll talk to you for hours if that's what you want. Just call me.
$2 per minute, $5 for the first minute. Call 1900-113, 6978.
End of flashback.
I had never done anything like that before, but I was like, let me try it. So I tried it and I met this guy. And, he wasn't what I would normally go for. But one of the things that I really liked about him was that he made me laugh and we had a good time together and enjoyed each other's company. And I think we ended up dating for about 3 months, maybe something like that. But anyway, what ended up happening was during that time, he was just fresh out of a relationship, and I feel kind of like he was on the rebound and I was also on the rebound. But when the relationship was getting ready to kind of fall apart or whatever, there was no real effort on either of our parts to kind of work on things or whatever. And especially not on my part. And I think because I wasn't really attracted to him like that. So it was like, okay, I can see that you need to kind of go ahead and, finish getting over your ex and all of that stuff. So I was willing to, not only because it was healthy for him to go and get over his ex or do whatever he needed to do with that situation, but also because I just wasn't attracted to him enough to fight for the relationship. Even though we had a good time together and he always was really nice to me and took care of me very well on dates and stuff like that. But, it just wasn't enough for me to want to fight for the relationship. So, it kind of makes me think like that this philosophy or whatever that I'm trying to do now going out with men that I'm not necessarily attracted to or wouldn't normally choose, you know, for the long term, how good is that kind of philosophy going to be? You know, when the relationship is on the rocks, am I going to want to fight as hard for it? Or am I going to just kind of say, you know, well, I wasn't really attracted to him that much anyway? And is attraction the thing that holds a relationship together? So these are just things that I'm going over in my head as I try this thing of going out with men that I wouldn't normally choose. But I think it's something to definitely keep my eye on and think about. But you can't say I didn't try it, you know, and or that I'm one of these people that takes dating very superficially, is only looking for, you know, somebody with good looks or somebody with a lot of money. I mean, I would love a whole package of a man, somebody I can have great conversation with, love some of the things that I love, not necessarily all of them, because every man is not going to love everything that I love, but you know, enough stuff that we could do together, that we have things to talk about, and also enough stuff separate that we can tell each other about and maybe learn new things from, you know, and all of that. So like a whole package of men where I'm actually physically attracted to him and enjoy being with him and enjoy looking at him and, you know, all of that stuff. I feel like all of it's important. So I don't know. I think that I'm going to continue trying this out because, you know, there, like I said earlier, there is this thing where sometimes somebody doesn't look as good on the internet or in pictures as they do in person. So, you know, if I'm on the fence about somebody, or I think, maybe he's cute, maybe not, I still might swipe right on him because he may look better in person. But I will try to keep my options open for the men. Like if I see a man who doesn't look that great to me on his pictures, but has things in his profile that I like he's explaining himself really well in his little paragraph, or says something in there that I think is funny or cute, I might still swipe on that guy just to see how he is in person, because you never know. And you never know what kind of curveballs life is going to throw your way, and maybe somebody interesting will come along from that. So, you know, I'll let you know how it's going, but that's just what I wanted to talk about today. Let me know in the comments, what are your ideas about attraction? Do you swipe right on men that you're not necessarily attracted to just to see if there's any chemistry that you could find there? Or do you continue to kind of just look for the men that you're physically attracted to? And do you think physical attraction is important in relationships? So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and like the video if you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what your experiences have been, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Happy dating! Bye-bye.